Scrap silver comes in all different forms and fashion, from broken jewelry to candlesticks and cups and salt shakers, anything that is damaged or banged up. I even got some constitutional here. I would never refine constitutional, but somebody just beat the heck out of this, shot it with bullets and drilled holes in it, so it was worthless as constitutional. Sometimes you can buy sterling silver that someone else has already poured into bars, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it's okay. Again, some more flatware and plates. Anything that's damaged, dinged, banged up can't be used. Flatware is also really good. Just stay clear of the knives. They are a pain in the ass to get the handles out and just not really worth it. But in the end, this is what you're going to end up with. That's 10,000 grams of pure silver shot. I've refined a bunch more than this, but I've poured them into bars, and I really just wanted to set a goal for myself of 10,000 grams. So at this point, I'll show you the process in small snippets for each of the refining. When I started refining, I was using broken and damaged jewelry that I would buy in bulk. You'd burn off all the waxes and take out the stones before you'd start the refining process. It refines just like anything else, but it does end up with a lot more junk that you have to filter out when you're going to the silver nitrate process. So you can see my filter paper is a little wrinkled there. I was learning the process, and mistakes happen when you're early at this. But the first time you watch silver precipitate out of solution, you're hooked. It's like magic. It just appears on the copper bars and flakes off once it gets too heavy. It's really amazing. From there, you're going to dry it out after you've filtered it a mess load of times, and then you end up with silver cement. You can pour bars straight with the cement, or you can pour it into shot, which is what I did here. After doing jewelry for a while, I started dabbling with sterling silver flatware and candlesticks and plates, things like that. I was getting it from my local pawn shops. I can't say this enough, that orange gas is nitric dioxide and extremely poisonous. So now we're filtering all of the silver nitrate, getting the copper and other contaminants that are at the bottom of the beaker filtered through a Buchner funnel with a glass paper filter, and what we end up with is crystal clear silver nitrate, and this is what we're going to precipitate using the pure copper. Here again is a learning opportunity. If your precipitate is floating up, it means there's too much nitric acid still left in solution. Here's something I would never do, which is refine constitutional or 90% silver coins. They are more valuable as coins than they are as pure silver, and it's just not something I would ever do. But in this case, somebody had shot them full of holes and beat the hell out of them, and he sold them to me for next to nothing, so they're better off in this condition to be used as pure silver. So it's been going for about just 10 or 15 minutes. You can see it's got a nice roll to it. Everything is starting to boil off and suspend in solution. And that's what you want to see. Really nice crystal clear blue solution. It'll get darker blue as more silver suspends, and all of the copper will end up at the bottom of that beaker. And there it is. So in that blue solution that I put the bars in, there was 426 grams of pure silver, just under half a kilo. So a lot of people have asked me for a description of my shot pouring setup. So basically I got the Italian furnace going here, and it's heating up some silver cement. I got a big turkey fryer with a stand, and it has a built-in propane system, and I'll explain why that's important in a second. I got basically a chemistry set rod with a beaker holder that holds my crucible that has a hole in it, and this torch that is pointed up at that hole. What you want to do is make sure that the hole in the bottom of the crucible is red hot, and you can see the fire coming through that. That's perfect. So that when you pour the silver from the Italian furnace into the crucible is already cooking red hot. The hole is red hot. There's no borax that's clogging the hole. It'll flow straight down into the turkey baster. I have a bowl that's upside down in there so that when the shot hits the bowl, it kind of disperses. If you let the shot just land in one spot the whole time, it kind of makes like ant hills, and it defeats the purpose. So once you do that, you just drain all the water out with the spigot, hook up your propane tank, turn on the fire, and just boil the water off of the shot, and you end up with perfect shot at the bottom. Here's some more sterling silver cups and plates and salt and pepper shakers. The only thing to be aware of here is that if it's a weighted item, you have to make sure you tear it apart and get the cement out. And you'll do that when you do your burn off. But this stuff boils down so good. It cooks just really quick in the nitric acid. I really like using the thin stuff. And that silver nitrate's going to precipitate out so clean. I'm really excited about it. This batch of sterling silver I bought as a bar. Someone had melted down a bunch of sterling flatware and poured it themselves. I ended up remelting it and pouring it into shots so that it would dissolve in the nitric acid easier. I've got 500 grams in here cooking already, 1,000 milliliters of distilled water, and about 125 milliliters of nitric acid, so roughly, I don't know, close to 10 to 1 to start off the reaction. I got it on a medium heat, and I'll start rolling the heat in as the reactions take place. But as you can see with the blue, it means there is definitely some contamination in there. All right, so got it all into the Buchner funnel, Buchner, whatever it's called, and you can see it pulling through the glass there, glass fiber filter. And now what we end up with is super crystal clear silver nitrate. So once it's been rinsed a whole bunch of times and then filtered, you dry it out and it turns into this cement, basically. It's called cement, but it is just pure silver powder. So that is pure silver. I found a local supplier of damaged sterling flatware, and I've been refining a ton of it. He has almost an unlimited supply, so I've been doing a boatload. Once the solution is sat overnight, you filter it in a Buchner funnel and a vacuum flask, and you end up with pure silver nitrate. So what you're looking at is pure silver nitrate. There's about ½ kilo of silver in that solution, and I'm going to show you how to precipitate it out using a copper ion swap. We use pure copper bars. I pick them up at the Metal Depot in their random cut bins for a couple of bucks a pound, and just clean them up real good. And you'll see once I put them in, they will start to form pure silver crystals immediately. You see that, how it went gray? And as that silver builds up and creates enough density and mass, it will flake off and fall. For this batch of refining, in addition to the normal flatware, I got a bunch of sterling silver knives. I'll tell you, they're really just not worth working with. You have to beat the hell out of them to open up the sterling silver shell that's around the cement in the handles. And you only end up with between 1/4 and 3/4 of an ounce out of each knife. It sounds like a lot, but it's a ton of work. So there it is, 10,000 grams of refined fine silver. It's been a long process, been working at it for about 6 months to a year. This isn't everything. I've poured a bunch of stuff, as you've seen in my other videos, but this is just pure silver shot that I will most likely be selling or pouring bars locally here. There's a coin dealer, my local LCS, wants to start pouring their own bars. So I'm gonna work something out with them and start pouring 20-ounce bars. This is one that we've already done. It's a 20-ounce bar with my maker's mark and theirs. They're called Buccaneer. I live in Florida, so that's their deal. So there it is. I did make a deal with myself. Once I hit 10,000 grams in shot, that I would start to do gold. I figure my safety precautions and my processes are good enough at this point where I can start doing Aqua Regina, which is far more caustic. And so I figure I could start doing some gold refining. So stay tuned and look for those videos. Thanks for watching.